Hello folks, this is Steve A. for you. I just got back from shopping. Turned my computer on to see what the latest earth-shaking news in the world is. Now, nothing in this episode is a promotion nor is it a recommendation, but you know there are certain topics that are my favorites. And one of the topics I review primarily on Bleeping Computer, and there's this article that was posted just 3 hours ago. Now, a long time ago, and I do mean a long time ago, at the beginning of Python, I learned to use Python, but I never used it regularly. PyPI, that's how you say it, suspends new user registration, get this, to block malware campaign. All right. Python's an extremely popular language, especially for system programming, because of its versatility and the thousands of open source code libraries, subroutines, that other people have contributed. They're called packages. So if I want to encrypt something, if I want to do geometry, if I want to do something with an illustration, if I want to do something with dynamically changing a web page, there's probably a library somebody has written methods that I could use, maybe even improve. That's something in my eye. I'm giving this introduction for those of you who are unfamiliar with it. Now, libraries are common in programming languages, like Java has them. C has them. So there's a place called PyPI, the Python Package Index. Let me just do a Google search. You see? And I click on it. Find, install, and publish Python packages with the Python Package Index. Let's do something like encryption. Now, I haven't done this before. I'm just picking it out of the thin air. Encryption 0.0.1, if that's a version number from 2019, basic text transformation, it's probably letter substitution. Somebody was just playing. Here's something, frog encryption, May 4th, 2023. That would be either when it was put there or the last update. Now we're getting more serious. RC6 encryption 1.0. That's a mature package. February 4th, 2024. This package implements RC6 encryption. And there's a way, if you have the basic Python language installed on your machine, you just go in the command line, pip install, and then they give the official name of this package. And it gets downloaded, and anything else that's needed gets loaded into, and then you're ready to start using it in your editor. And the editor knows about it. This pure Python package, which means it makes no other calls, no calls to another language, like assembly language or C language. and it does. Now what's this? I'm just showing you. Wikipedia. This will come into what I'm going to show you. In cryptography, RC6, River Cipher 6 is a symmetric key. Block cipher, and it explains it. Now, it's way over my head, it's way over your head. Key phrase, symmetric key. There's a public and a private version of the keys. That technique is commonly used right with the browser you're using to watch this video in order to go get it. The conversation between you and YouTube is encrypted with a symmetrical key. Certificates. Okay. So I'm trying to give you a feeling for who's under attack. Now, in the place I showed you, there are tens of thousands of packages. I'm not exaggerating. That website, the Python Package Index, PyPI, has temporarily suspended user registration. That means that if today I'm playing with it, oh, I want to put I can't get an account. I don't have one, and I can't get one now, right now. Suspended user registration and the creation of new projects. I showed you a project to deal with ongoing malware campaign. Now, this has been creeping up on us. This is the fact that there have been people uploading packages to that repository that are malware is not new news. So it is. PyPI is an index for Python projects that helps developers find and install Python packages, which I showed you. With thousands of packages available, the repository is an attractive target for threat actors. Threat actors are the bad guys, who often upload typo-squatted or fake packages to compromise software developers and potential suppliers. So I have a famous tool or something. I'm a company. I'm using Python to make my software tools. Some of it is dependent on libraries I picked up from here. And every time I do an update to my package, my development environment goes out and checks all the supporting packages that I need. And if there's been an update to one of them, it brings that in dynamically right now. Why did I tell you that? Well, if the last time I updated my software product was 2 months ago, in the meantime, somebody may have put something nasty out there, and when I go to update my product, something sneaks in behind my back, because I only use about 250 different packages from other people just on ordinary kind of functions. Like I want to do square roots. I have a package for that. I don't want to reinvent that code. Besides, I don't know how to do it. Got it? I specialize in my own stuff. Such activity has forced the PyPI administrators earlier today, Thursday, the 28th of March, 2024, to announce that all new user registrations have been suspended to allow mitigating malicious activity. Now, what does that mean? First of all, it means nothing new that's bad can be added in from unknowns, new boys. You'll see why in a moment. while they try to figure out and comb through the tens of thousands of stuff they have, trying to find. Now, did you see this one here, typo squatted? Suppose we have something like I'm going to give a simple example. And that's the name of a package. I don't think I can do it. Suppose I could change that from being bold to being suppose I could change that from being an L in the American English alphabet to being something that looks like an L in the Greek alphabet. I'm just picking something out. Or the Georgian alphabet. Or the Spanish alphabet, which is a different character encoding in the computer way the computer sees it. The computer doesn't see letters, it sees numbers. But when you read it, when you look in the index, you may not notice that that's not really me. That's somebody who's typo squatting me. Here's another way. Here's another way. Here's another way. A lot of times we don't notice that. We're in such a hurry and we're so used to it. So they're saying that one of the ways the bad boys get in there is they typo squat the name of a package that is sounds like it's actually another highly used by literally 100,000 different users, and it has something that everybody needs. And they put the bad stuff in there, and they hope when you go to PyPI and you suddenly need it for your code, you pick the wrong one. You pick the baddie. And then the secret code gets into your code. And when people use it, like when they go to your website and they click on something and it downloads and runs, it screws their computer. So it's become such an avalanche under the covers that the administrators have to shut off any new people, just so that they can try to work over the tens of thousands they already have. And it's been ongoing. Now, why am I doing this? Oh, here's an example. The final payload of the InfoStealer with persistence. Oh, it has to do, oh, yeah, this is good. Hang on. A report from Checkmarks informs the threat actor started yesterday to upload, now listen to this, upload PyPI 365 packages, whatever that is, with names that mimic legitimate projects, legitimate users. The packages include malicious code within the setup.py. Remember what I said? I'm going to revise my Py-based software because I want to put a new feature in. And when I start it up in my development environment, setup.py goes out and checks if there's been any updates to the stuff I'm trying to use. And these guys are now sneaking in that way. That's what I said earlier. That execute upon installation attempting to retrieve an additional payload from a remote server. Oh! How do they do that? What you mean they got something in there that doesn't actually go to PyPI but tries to get it from somewhere else? Why would the bad boy do that? Because maybe the way he's doing it is easy to detect by the PyPI software that keeps scanning everything. So he's figured out a way that when that thing, you download what looks like an innocent module, it actually calls to a bad place to get the bad code, not back to the PyPI. To evade detection, the malicious code is encrypted using the FairNet module. Now that sounds like a proper name. PyPI/cryptography. So you can learn about these things just by doing a Google search. FairNet guarantees that a message encrypted using it cannot be manipulated or read without a key. So this is an easy way for you to do message passing based on key encryption in such a way as that the recipient can easily read, decrypt, and read, and send stuff back encrypted that you can decrypt and read without having to pay for a big license and stuff like that. Now watch. Now the bad boys, to evade detection, the malicious code is encrypted using, so the thing itself, the bad code is actually encrypted so you can't tell by reading it. And the remote sources, remember it actually goes and picks it up not from PyPI, but the bad, it's in North Korea or something like that. The resources URL, universal resource, the URL is itself, now watch, I love this, is dynamically constructed when needed. Look, I'm just highlighted and copied the URL for this article on Bleeping Computer. Now it'll go around. Okay, now I'll scroll. Okay, you can read that. You can read that. So can a piece of software that's checking where these guys are going and what they're picking up. Because they would start by looking at this. I have an extension added into my browser that has a whole list of like 10,000 places. If I click on a link that's on that list and say, wait a minute, that's a bad place to go. So at the time when setup.py runs, the actual address of the bad place is not human readable. It actually runs some secret code that itself is what's called obfuscated to dynamically construct the URL to tell the browser to go get it. So that it only flashes for a fraction of a second. And it isn't in a browser, it's being done by your computer. You don't see it. It's a silent communication. It's not a browser communication. You never know where it really went. And it isn't directly encoded. They have a trick for how they can. It used to be things like the way you would send a fake message on a messenger in case they get stopped during the Civil War is you would write out a long special poem or text, and the people who are going to receive the message know only to read every fifth word to get the actual message. So that you can, hide but dynamically so they're constructing the actual, at the moment it's need to go get the bad stuff, it dynamically creates it, and it's all running under the covers anyway. You never see it. And it's not directly encoded in the module uploaded to PyPI. Excuse me for going on about this. I want to show you what's up. And this is a major problem to everything on the web, because Python is used so thoroughly everywhere. And PyPI is everywhere. Everything that you use as soon as you even turn on your streaming television. So the final payload is an info stealer with persistent capabilities that targets data stored in web browsers. Now here's something I know I avoid, such as login passwords. Have you noticed how convenient it is that you go to your bank and your browser offers to remember your password so you don't have to type it in each time? Don't be that stupid! Don't be that stupid! It's okay if it remembers your username, but not your password. Because the bad boys know how to find it. Right on your computer. Okay? Now, the article goes on, and they're talking about this thing called check marks. They're basing this on this article. And this is the second half of the reason why so you can tell this is some kind of cybersecurity commercial site. You see, my head's covering it, but do you see what the pop-up is? They always do that. Welcome back. Welcome to here. What brings you to the site today? I'll accept the cookies because I'm going to delete them later. So they wrote a blog post and so what I've just been going over with you on Bleeping Computer, which becomes kind of like this. They keep looking around to all these different places, then it centralizes. It's like a news service. So we're looking at the original authors. And it's the Checkmark Security Research Team. And Shazam, you're going to see the reason why I'm doing this video. I'm looking at the names. This article is essentially what we've already talked about. And they picked out, and they've got exact examples, and it's in greater detail. And some of the illustration was in the article. Bleeping Computers, believe me, Checkmark is happy to have Bleeping Computer use some of right from this verbatim, as long as they say where they got it, because it advertises them to the world. Bleeping Computer is more famous than Checkmarks. We want to get known. Thank you for noticing. Yeah, you can use the illustrations and the examples. Go right ahead, as long as you say Checkmarks. And have a link back to this. We're happy. No copyright infringement. So I'm looking at the names. Yehuda. Oh, wow, what kind of person would have a name Yehuda? Gelb. Well, that kind of sounds like it's a Yiddish name. Yosef. Well, that could be Arabic. Harush Kaduri. In Israel, did I ever know somebody family named Kaduri? Actually, I did. Chachi, Zornstein. See, the transliteration, Stein. This is Yiddish again. Russian, Yiddish, Ukrainian, Eastern European. Old German derivative. Yehuda Gelb. Do you think YouTube knows who Google search knows who he is. LinkedIn. Experienced research engineer, check marks. I strive to help make the cyberspace a safe place to live and work. BSc degree in cybersecurity. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. There's his picture. He looks Russian to me. The kind of Russians that I met in the early 1970s when I was in Israel, when the Soviets were letting them out by way of Austria and then. But he's not that old, so he's the son of. Do you think it's the same guy on YouTube? Yeah, it is. He's got a YG, right? Yehuda Gelb, YG Productions. Share your story with the world. Wait a minute. What's this video that he put here that would play? A day in the life of an Israeli. Do you think he's an Israeli? But he's traveled around. But he's Israeli? I don't know. Does it say the country? It doesn't say the country. Let's look at the second guy. Yosef Harush Kaduri. Now, he's not an Ashkenazi. I haven't tried to look this one up. He's on LinkedIn. He's on GitHub. We can see his picture. Hi. My name is Yosef Hari Kaduri, founder of cybersecurity startups ZeroNetworks.com and Dusty.co. I get merged. Get is a marriage contract for religious Jews. A get. I get merged my wife's family name, or maybe a get is a divorce. I forget. It's Yiddish. I get merged. See, he's smiling. It's a joke for those who understand it. My wife's family name with mine, hence Harush Kaduri. So do you think his name was originally Kaduri or Harush? If the wife's family's name goes second, then it would be a middle name, not the final. Ranked number in the top 1% of Stack Overflow. Well, what's Stack Overflow? You answer questions that people have about computers. Stack Overflow, where developers learn, share, and build. It's a question and answer website. I use it all the time for computer programmers. When I have a question, I type it in, and then I look to see Google search stuff, and if there's somebody answering on StackFlow, I usually go there first, because that tends to be the better set of answers on technical programming computer answers. What kind of person do you think started StackFlow? See, can you tell by looking at this guy's name where he's from? Would you guess he was maybe from India? Do you recognize names? Does he look like he's Indian? He's the big boy at Stack Overflow. San Antonio, Texas. Oh! Languages: English, Hindi, Kannada, Telugu, Tamil. Have I known and worked with on a daily basis with people speaking those languages? Do I know that Telugu is primarily from like Hyderabad, which is the capital of Telangana? That Tamil is from Tamil Nadu, which is the southeasternmost state of India. Hindi is speaken across the broad stretch of the north, but not in the northeast. Canada, ever hear of Bangalore? That's the main, Canada is the main. Have I worked with somebody speaking Canada? Yeah, Gayatri. Her name was Gayatri. You know all that stuff, right? You can place. See, it's like I'm trying to guess. Is he Russian? Is he Yiddish? Is he combining? Is his family? Is he? He likes riding motorcycles, and he likes hot peppers, and organizing events in Israel. Oh, he's Israeli? Is that where we got the clue? So we got 2 out of 3. I guessed it that way. So wait a minute now. Now, this guy's got a Yiddish kind of background. I love the spelling. He's LinkedIn also. See, 3 days ago, Tech Radar, Python devs are being targeted by this massive, and it cites, oh, they got another, in a blog post, and they got another name. I'm going to check that name in a moment. So let's look at the LinkedIn. See, this is the Israeli connection. Head of software supply chain, check marks. Oh, my goodness. He's headquartered in Hadera. How far was Hadera from the first kibbutz that I spent a year on? 4 miles? It's like me going from here where I am into Ashboro. Have I ever had falafels in Hadera? Yeah, I have. So do you think he's Israeli? He doesn't give any languages, but the getaway is he actually says he's in Hadera. You ever been there? Oh, I said I've had falafels there. But where was that other one? Oh yeah, there was another name. Tal. Tal. Oh, that's an Israeli name. Folkman. Yeah, I thought it was going to be a she. Usually Tal is, as a first name. It can be a family name. So she's at, Tal brings over 6 years of experience to her role as a security researcher within the Checkmark Supply Chain Security Group. Wait a minute, wait a minute, let's actually look at her bio on the website of Checkmarks. I'm not promoting anything, I'm just interested. Oh, I'll bet she picked out the color. Evolution of a software supply chain attacker. Just like Hollywood has its own celebrities and well-known actors, the world of malicious open source packages, which is what we started out talking about, also has its notorious players. And just like Hollywood stars, these threat actors don't always stay in the spotlight. And this one over here, new technique used by attackers in NPM, that's another repository, to avoid detection. Several malicious, so it isn't just PyPI, it's the NPM library, which is totally different. That's JavaScript. It's a totally different language. Several malicious NPM packages using a new evasion technique, enhancing dependency confusion attacks. It's the same deal. When you go in like Node.js, and that environment, and then it goes to see, you're going to start something new, and it goes to see if there's any of the packages you're using have been updated so that it would bring them in dynamically. That's the same as what we just described with the Python. To help malicious packages avoid detection, this novel technique tries to avoid being detected by security scanners. And you can read more. So if you want to go to the source, why isn't it opening? Okay, there's another article. And they're giving them a name. So apparently they detected somebody new, Red Lily. including in-depth walkthrough of the automated system. Oh, that's one of the things the article said is that what they've noticed is a trend lately, and was a clue to them, is they were looking for packages that were typo squatting, and they were only one upload by a new user, and from all kinds of IP numbers, which suggested that the guys who are doing this are spraying it and it's automated. And they might actually upload the same package typo squatted 5 different, I'm guessing, 5 different ways from a bunch of different, and creating 5 new users, just so that one of them gets used and not, you might find 4, the automatic detection might find 4 of them, but miss the 5th one. Yes! Mass attack. They're doing it. So she apparently is reading these articles. Now, all right, this one is responding. Let's see if she wrote it. Yes, she did. And it's not new. This article, which sounds, the headline, so that just means they keep trying to find evasive techniques. What we'll read in this from April 2022 may not be a description of what's happening with the PyPI now, but the higher level walkthrough of an automated system for publishing. They're accusing this PyPI thing being automated publishing. And our publication, we've seen the same attacker changing their techniques and adding new exfiltration targets, enhancing evasive abilities. Do you think she actually wrote that English herself, or do you think she had Google Translate help her? Sounds really good. This Red Lily has continued to publish packages similar to the ones we described in our previous blog, and they published more than 60 malicious packages over 50 unique accounts. See? This automated behavior has subsided recently and cleared way for several changes, and now they're going to describe, oh, see, remember what I told you? Don't be like that. No, these are the names, these are the automated names of the new accounts and hidden text files. Most of these message in the bottle packages, as the package don't go, they're ever introduced a new packet. Instead of a normal pre-installed script, they move to a malicious code in a binary file, obfuscated it, and then ran it in the pre-install. So what got described today for PyPI and the evasive techniques is nothing new. And what does that suggest? What does that suggest? Now, this is a personal opinion. It means the people at PyPI thought they were geniuses and ahead of the curve, and they're not. They've been snookered all along. I think that's the actual message, to the point that they have to semi-shut the site down, nothing new uploaded, no new users. We have to freeze it in place because it's so out of control. Yeah, that's my interpretation of this. And it's only going to get worse. And I'm not talking specifically about PyPI. Remember what I said way back in many of my videos. When the people who invented the internet, which before that was called ARPANET, and the web, for simplification, the underlying assumption was that everybody was going to be a good guy. That it was mostly going to be academic researchers. And so all of the protocols have zero security. Do you follow that logic? If they would have had no way of knowing how to build a secure system because they would have had no eye. The only way you find out what you have to fight against, secure against, is after the geniuses that are bad guys really get to go and sneak around in ways you never imagined. Steve A.B. Oh, I just came in from shopping. Just thought I'd sit down for a minute and see what the news is. Saying see you in 73.